Hey everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time. So, do I start with the good news or the bad news? There's the question. Well, the good news is that we've actually had our first delivery from the P.O. Fox. So, enjoy this quick little segment as we opened some stuff. Right folks, welcome to the first ever installment of P.O. Fox, and the Nyan hiding scale of this seems to suggest that we are in for a bit of a treat.
Help.
So, naturally, of course, the details for the P.O. Fox are on the screen right now, presumably around about here above the Nyan, and if you send things to there, you can address it to Remember Comics, to Fuzz, to Lying. If you're feeling particularly boring, you can nail it. You can address it to, like, Tim Morn, but that's a weird name these days. And, I have no idea what this is, so this is going to get real interesting. It appears to be from Amazon, is what we can tell so far. So, oh boy.
We know that it's from Chronicler Wolfram. This is very inconvenient.
Oh yeah. What have we got in here? Air! Yay! Oh Christ.
Oh fuck.
Oh Christ. Wolfram, no! So, firstly, I'm just going to point out, we have a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game that is beautiful, and I would love to be able to play that.
Except it is exclusively
PS4. Continuing on, however, we have a PS4. Now, what Wolfram might have overlooked is we don't have a television. That is not an invitation.
However, we do have several monitors.
True indeed. Wow. Okay then. I guess now I can actually buy Blu-rays.
Jesus Christ.
Not... I was expecting potentially many things. Not this. But, well, you've set a high bar now, haven't you, Wolfram? Wow. Wow. Well, I guess it is birthday season.
Wow. And
now on to the bad news. If you're seeing this, then it is presumably either Wednesday, June 7th, or it is Thursday, June 8th. June 8th is particularly important because it is the date of the general election. Now, I know people don't like me talking about politics, so I'm going to try and spin through this as quickly as I can. This election is going to determine more or less the course of Brexit, which means it's going to cause some substantial fallout on our country's economic status and such. And the more that we've seen from the campaign, the more polarized the parties have been. It's very clear that the right-wing Conservatives or Tories don't generally care about anyone except themselves and whoever's paying them. Whereas the left, Labour has gone from centre-left to hugely left, which is unfortunate because it means that the guy who's been pushing for the left all this time, Jeremy Corbyn, might get ousted. Alternatively, though, if he has enough support behind him, he might actually just completely left-wing the Labour Party, which would be magnificent if it resembles the manifesto that he's been putting out so far. That means scrapping university tuition fees, it means taking care of the NHS, it means taking care of the elderly, it means making sure everything works out well. It potentially means even halting and turning back Brexit, which would be magnificent. And the reason I'm telling everyone this right now is because there's a good chance that we could overturn this. There's a fairly strong support base for the Tories. It's kind of how they got in the first place and caused this whole mess. But there is a huge and massively rapidly growing base for Labour as a consequence of just everything that's happened as a result of the Tories, more or less. And a lot of that is the young vote. We've had a huge surge in the young voterships, that's 18s and upwards, more or less. And just the amount of support that's come out of the woodwork, more or less, is amazing. but the polls are still showing it to be neck and neck, more or less. So, what we need to do is we need to get out on Thursday and we need to vote, and there are sites you can find out to figure out who will win in an area, depending on how you, or what your best option to vote for is if you don't want the Tories to win. For most people, this is going to be Labour, and we've had coalition governments before, they can work, but we are probably better just betting on one horse for the most part. So, get out there, ideally vote Labour, but vote according to your principles, which are ideally not Tory if you're watching me, and fingers crossed that we have a little bit of a bright spot in what is currently a free-fall dive into darkness. But, with that out of the way, here's the schedule. On Thursday at 11 PM BST, we have, of course, Midnight Souls, where we will be, quite probably taking on a boss. Ugh. We also have an episode of The Lost Hands, as Ignalane makes some questionable decisions. Then on Friday, we have an episode of Dungeon Maker, where we've got a time-lapse of a new build, right by Spawn. On Saturday at 9 PM BST over twitch.tv/lyinginbedmon, it's another dive onto the coaster as we do some more Overwatch competitive placement matches. On Monday, it's hopefully an episode of Spring Realms. Then on Tuesday, it's an episode of Edgington as we are talking about memes. And at 9 PM BST over twitch.tv/lyinginbedmon, we have another installment of Young Dwarves Live. Lastly for the week, on Wednesday, it's an episode of Mating Do, as the engineers at long last return to the mansion. And on to the questions. So as always, these are drawn from the comments section of the preceding video. If you have anything to ask me, leave it down below. Alternatively, put it in a letter and we'll answer it in, like, P.O. Fox. Anyways, our first question of the week comes from Bo Nicholas Mathiasen. What is your favourite hat? This one. I don't wear it as often as I used to, but it's still my favourite. If I was a bender from the Avatar series, which element would you have? Well, asks AR13. Good question. None of the base elements really appeal to me. Being able to generate fire, control wind, earth, that kind of thing doesn't really appeal to me too much. It's more the specializations. In which case, it would be nice to be either a metal bender or a lightning bender. I'm guessing if you're a lightning bender and you did enough work on it, you could probably control it on a more low-grade level than an actual freaking lightning bolt. Metal bending is also really handy as well. I'd love to be able to do that. But that's kind of Mary suing it if you say, well, of course I would be a metal bender, this thing that has only existed for a couple of years. Although there's an entire town that focuses on it now, so I guess it would depend on what era I was in. Greater Synod asks, to Parmo or not to Parmo? Don't Parmo. No. A Parmo, for those who don't know, is a disgusting regional creation here around Middlesbrough, which involves more or less an entity composed of pizza, chicken, and cheese, bathed in grease. Blah. And that is it for this week, so I hope you all enjoyed. Sorry with the late vlog, but hey, we didn't expect to have an item in P.O. Fox right at the start of the morning. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.